Good evening and welcome. You're watching Breaking Views with me, Sanket Upadhyay, a show where we get you all the views so that you get the complete picture. Now, as far as today's story is concerned, it's been pretty much consistent, the drama that has been unfolding in the state of Maharashtra. Who wins? Who loses? But the biggest question is, while these rebels have moved from Mumbai to Surat to Guwahati, and they claim that more are joining, whereas the Shiv Sena camp, which is the Uddhav Thackeray camp, saying that now people will start coming back there in touch with us. And the Chief Minister making an emotional appeal. The big question is, who is the real Shiv Sena? Where is the Shiv Sena? Is it Shinde Sena or is it Uddhav Sena? Who has the numbers? You see, eventually all of this will come down to the numbers. Such is the system that you will have to prove your majority on the floor of the house. You may choose to go wherever you want or claim whatever you want. Uddhav Thackeray may claim whatever he wants, or Mr. Eknath Shinde may claim whatever he wants. Ultimately, they will have to come to the floor of the house to prove their majority. That is how governments function. So in that scenario, who has the numbers and who is the real Shiv Sena? That's the question that we are going to ask. Before we move any further, let's quickly play out this explainer of where the numbers are right now and how are they stacked up. Alright, all that is happening in Maharashtra, it all boils down to the numbers, the math. Who has how much? So let's take a look at these two scenarios of how the numbers were stacked up before the Sena revolt. So you had a situation where the Shiv Sena had 55, they had 56, they lost one MLA, he died. 53 for the NCP, 44 for the Congress, and with the help of the support of a few like-minded parties, they formed the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi. They were more than 150, which was above the 144 mark, which is the majority mark, and they were in the government. The BJP was at 106 with a couple of others at 20. Some with the BJP, some with the alliance. Now, post the revolt, you see a number of things have happened. Many claims and counterclaims have been made as to who has how many. Mr. Eknath Shinde claims in a telephonic interview with NDTV that he has 46. However, officially the pictures that were released, which showed the number of MLAs, a sort of a head count, shows, and one person has come back in that grand photo op. So that leaves Mr. Shinde with a strength of 34. And of those 34, 30 are with him. So how are the numbers stacked up now? That leaves the Uddhav Thackeray camp of the Shiv Sena poorer by 30, and thus their number 55 minus 30 is 25. 30 MLAs of the Shiv Sena, which is definitely more than what Thackeray has right now, are with Eknath Shinde. There are 4 independents who are also with Eknath Shinde. NCP has retained its 53, the Congress has its 44, the BJP with its 106, and then there are others along with the Samajwadi Party, which sometimes supports the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi. At this moment have not spoken much. So that's the situation post the Sena revolt. Now, you see, if Mr. Shinde wants to form his own party or claim, as he is claiming, that I am the real Shiv Sena, for that to be able to engineer that split and then perhaps join hands with the BJP, because it's, he says, ideologically more suited to the Shiv Sena, he is still short of 7 MLAs. He of the Shiv Sena has only 30. According to the two-thirds rule to circumvent the anti-defection law, you need 37 Shiv Sena MLAs. As far as the visual is concerned, his claim may be 46, but as far as the visual is concerned, which has been produced as proof of togetherness, who have gone to Guwahati, he has 30 Shiv Sena MLAs. So he's still technically short of 7 MLAs. Now it will be very interesting to see that this gap, which was, he originally claimed 21, and then that number swelled and increased. It has now reached 30. There are many independents also. will there be a situation where over the next few days, more Shiv Sena MLAs are going to desert Mr. Uddhav Thackeray and jump ship to Eknath Shinde, thus making Mr. Shinde the real Shiv Sena? All right, let me now quickly go across to NDTV's Saurabh Gupta as well as Ratnadeep Chaudhary, who I would have never ever imagined in his life, Ratnadeep, that you would have to cover anything related to Maharashtra. We will go to Ratnadeep also, where all the rebel MLAs are. They are in a resort, and Saurabh Gupta is on screen. First, Saurabh, I want to come to you. Can you tell us where exactly you are, what's happening? I believe there was a meeting in the evening of the Shiv Sena MLAs of whatever remain in the state of Maharashtra. What is Uddhav saying? I believe there's an emotional appeal. Can this emotional appeal work with the Shiv Sena MLAs?
Well, the emotional appeal is unlikely to work with MLAs who are largely driven by power and other considerations. But amongst the cadre, it definitely can. And if you can keep the cadre behind you consolidated, then you can always create new MLAs and MPs. That's the plan perhaps that Uddhav Thackeray has. But also, you look at this new offer that the Congress and the NCP are willing to make in order to keep the Sena intact, because that would mean keeping the government intact. If the Sena splinters, the government goes. So it's about saving the Sena. So the Congress and the NCP also have to do their bit to save the Shiv Sena at this point. And Uddhav Thackeray is expected to leave his official residence, Varsha, and head towards his personal residence, Matoshri. Matoshri is politically significant. It's where the heart of the Shiv Sena really is, because that's the residence of Balasaheb Thackeray. That's where, the Shiv Sena, everything of the Shiv Sena originates from. And as, the Chief Minister plans to leave this and go to Matoshri, you can see all along the road, if I can ask my camera person to show you that side, all along the road, right, up till this state guest house, Sayadri guest house, there are saffron flags, and Shiv Sainiks who have lined up. There, of course, on the other side, you can see a poster of Balasaheb Thackeray, Uddhav Thackeray, Aditya Thackeray, and of course, Rashmi Thackeray. And they're saying, तुमच्या सोबत कायम आहे, मतलब we are so आम्ही तुमच्या सोबत कायम आहे, which means that we are still with you. So the ordinary Shiv Sena karyakarta is now out on the street saying, saying we are with you. The Sena is a different party. It's really bound by the Thackeray. So can Eknath Shinde really turn down the offer to make a Shiv Sainik a chief minister just because he doesn't want to be with the NCP and the Congress? That's of course something that I'm sure many of the MLAs with him will reconsider. So this is now becoming a game of political offers and counter offers. Eknath Shinde for now sticking to his stand, but really, if there's an offer for someone to become a chief minister, will he turn it down? Can he turn it down? And will he then?
No, but then it's such a tricky situation. If you accept the offer to become the chief minister, then you come across as a very power-hungry sort of a man who kept talking about ideology, but at the very first opportunity of becoming CM, you grabbed on to power. If you don't do that, perhaps the MLAs who are with you will feel that here is a man, how silly of him, not choosing to be the chief minister. So what really is going to happen? These pictures on your screen right now, I believe, are from Guwahati. These are from Guwahati, of all the MLAs. Ratnadeep, who never in his life imagined that he will cover Maharashtra politics so closely, is now sending us these pictures. Ratnadeep, what is Mr. Eknath Shinde doing in these pictures?
Well, our colleague Akshay is at the Hotel Radisson Blu in Guwahati, where Mr. Eknath Shinde is, and those pictures are coming from there. I am at the Guwahati airport awaiting for the arrival of a chartered aircraft, which sources were telling us right from 5 o'clock that it will arrive any moment, but it has not arrived as of now. Now this aircraft is supposed to carry at least 4 Maharashtra MLA which has one Sena MLA and 3 independent. That's what sources are telling us, and also one prominent leader from BJP in Maharashtra is going to arrive. That's what the information was, but we're still waiting. However, at the hotel, Mr. Eknath Shinde was supposed to actually address the press, which that timing also kept on changing, and at this moment those visuals really coming out from the hotel in Radisson Blu. However, if you look at the numbers, till afternoon the confirmation was of presence of about 34 to 35 Maharashtra MLAs in that hotel, and sources were telling us by the end of the day or by late night, more 5 Maharashtra MLAs would come. So overall they would reach to the mark of 40. But most importantly, even if these MLAs come in, what is most important, how many of them are Shiv Sena MLAs? At this moment, what we are picking up from our sources is that 4 MLAs are going to come. Of them, only 1 is a Shiv Sena MLA. So that would take the number to 31. But Mr. Shinde still has to gather 6 more Shiv Sena MLAs. And what we are also picking up is that some movement has also started for a possible, online meeting between Mr. Shinde and the governor of Maharashtra tomorrow morning. Remember, the governor is suffering from COVID, so therefore only online meeting is possible. So a lot of developments are taking place, but we are still awaiting the arrival of the second batch of the
second
Maharashtra
batch
MLAs.
of MLAs who are also going to come this time around. According to Ratnadeep, they are going to be largely independents, but you see, for Mr. Shinde to be able to engineer a defection from the Shiv Sena successfully, the Shiv Sainik MLAs have to be more than 37. That is the bigger question. Thank you very much, Saurabh Gupta as well as Ratnadeep, for joining us. Sanjay Dwivedi, leader of the Shiv Sena, is with us. So is Sanjay Jha, political analyst. Dr. Seema Malik, national spokesperson of the NCP. Pramod Swami of the BJP, and Jayant Mainkar, senior journalist in Maharashtra. First of all, I want to come to you, Mr. Pramod Swami. I hope you are playing a gracious host to your new friends. मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि प्रमोद स्वामी जो हैं वो मेजबानी कर रहे हैं. आपके गेस्ट आए हुए हैं असम में.
देखिए,
ठीक से खातिरदारी हो रही है कि नहीं उनकी?
ये आपका आकलन करना का अधिकार है. आप कैसे?
अरे वो आपके गेस्ट हैं. The chief minister has called them guests.
हम आसाम में जो भी आए वो हमारा गेस्ट. आप आएंगे तो आप भी हमारे गेस्ट है. ऐसी क्या बात है? तो ये अभी जो राजनीतिक जो घटनाक्रम जो हुआ है महाराष्ट्र में, उसके लिए बजाय किसी को दोष देने के लिए शिवसेना को खुद आत्मचिंतन करना चाहिए. और एकनाथ शिंदे जी ने कुछ प्रश्न उठाए हैं कि आपने चुनाव लड़ा भारतीय जनता पार्टी के साथ मिलकर के, जिसकी 106 सीटें थी भारतीय जनता पार्टी की, और शिवसेना की 55 सीटें, एमसीपी की 53 और कांग्रेस की 44. आपने चुनाव लड़ा जिस पार्टी के साथ में विचारधारा के आधार पे, और बाला साहब ठाकरे की और शिवसेना की शुरू से ही हिंदुत्व की विचारधारा रही है, लेकिन आपने उनको छोड़ करके मात्र सत्ता के लिए एनसीपी और कांग्रेस से समझौता कर लिया. एकनाथ शिंदे जी ने यही प्रश्न उठाए हैं. और दूसरी भ्रष्टाचार का उन्होंने प्रश्न उठाया है, जिसमें उन्होंने कहा कि 100 करोड़ की उगाही वाले जो लोग हैं, अनिल देशमुख और नवाब मलिक का स्पष्ट रूप से नाम लेते हैं, उन्होंने कुछ भ्रष्टाचार के ऊपर में प्रश्न उठाए हैं. तो ये शिवसेना का अंदरूनी मामला है कि वो इस विषय में क्या करना चाहते हैं या क्या करना नहीं चाहते. जहां तक बात है कि आपने ये कहा कि असली शिवसेना कौन, तो असली शिवसेना के ऊपर में जो निर्णय होगा वो इलेक्शन कमीशन करेगा. लेकिन जो राजनीति में जो हम लोग,
लेकिन उससे पहले एक और निर्णय होना है, and that is a very important decision, Sanjay Dwivedi. Sanjay Dwivedi, one moment, Sanjay Dwivedi. There is a very important decision that has to be taken, which is going to be decided, and that is the rule on the floor of the House, where the government will have to prove its strength. Now, this latest offer that has been made to Mr. Eknath Shinde, that come be the chief minister, with the backing of NCP and
दो तीन बातें कहूंगा साकेत जी. अब मेरी बात से 2-3 बातें मैं कहूंगा. पहली बात जो उन्होंने कहा कि साहब चुनाव हमारे साथ लड़े और सरकार एनसीपी और कांग्रेस से बना ली. पहली बात, एनसीपी के साथ माननीय देवेंद्र फडणवीस जी ने 80 घंटे सरकार बनाई थी, तब नवाब मलिक जी और अनिल देशमुख जी सही थे. दूसरी बात लीजिए, बिहार में आप देखिए जेडीयू ने और आरजेडी ने चुनाव लड़ा।
अच्छा चलिए उनकी बात छोड़ दीजिए, आप मेरे सवाल का जवाब दीजिए ना। यू टेल मी हु इज द रियल शिवसेना।
मैं आपके सवाल जवाब
उद्धव ठाकरे जी के पास क्या अभी भी शिवसेना का समर्थन है? सारे विधायक तो देखिए शॉर्ट्स पहन करके गुवाहाटी में बैठे हुए हैं।
देखिए बाला साहब ठाकरे ने माननीय उद्धव ठाकरे को अध्यक्ष बनाया था, तो जो असली शिवसेना है वो माननीय उद्धव ठाकरे की सेना है। ये जो क्या कर रहे हैं, क्या आज इनको 3 साल 1 महीने बाद माननीय शिंदे जी को समझ में आया कि साहब कांग्रेस एनसीपी सरकार नहीं बननी चाहिए थी। बहुत अच्छी बात इन्होंने कही। तो जिसमें मुख्यमंत्री का चयन हो रहा था, विधायकों से मीटिंग होती है, उसमें प्रश्न उठाना चाहिए था। दूसरी बात मैं करता हूँ, मध्य प्रदेश में कांग्रेस के विधायक छोड़कर सरकार बना ली, कांग्रेस से कोई दिक्कत नहीं। मानिए
ओके, जयंत माइनकर, I want to come to you now. Jayant Mainkar, I want to come to you now. Do you think that first of all, a test has to happen on the floor of the House, then there has to be a test in the Election Commission, and then there is a third and a very important test is among the cadre and among the people. Who do you think will be able to win these tests? Because Mr. Eknath Shinde says that I have the support of the Shiv Sena because we have gone away from our ideology.
So let's go in the chronology, exactly in the opposite direction what you said.
Chronology.
As far as cadre is concerned, it will be definitely with Uddhav Thackeray. This had happened even in 1991.
What will be with Uddhav Thackeray?
Currently, as per the statistics that you are giving, even I have got more or less a similar statistics, which says that there are 25 legislatures. But
okay, one more, Mr. Mainkar, one moment. Sanjay Raut is now speaking. Let's cut across live.
माननीय शरद पवार साहेब येऊन गेल्या, सुप्रियाताई, जयंतराव, आता नाना पटोले, बाळासाहेब थोरात, अशोकराव चव्हाण हे सगळे आता आतमध्ये आहेत. मुख्यमंत्री आता वर्षा बंगल्यातून मातोश्रीवर राहण्यासाठी निघालेले आहेत. मोह माया सत्ता याचा आम्हाला अजिबात लोभ नाही. आम्ही लढणारे लोक आहोत. आम्ही लढत राहू आणि शेवटी सत्याचा विजय होईल अशा प्रकारची भूमिका आहे. दोन्ही पक्षाच्या प्रमुख नेत्यांनी येऊन महाविकास आघाडीला आणि उद्धव ठाकरे यांच्या संदर्भात ज्या सद्भावना व्यक्त केल्या, मग शरद पवार साहेब असतील, नाना पटोले असतील, अशोकराव चव्हाण असतील, बाळासाहेब थोरात असतील, सकाळी कमलनाथजी होते, आम्ही त्यांचे आभारी आहोत. कारण काय आहे? असं आहे की काही लोकांना वाटत असेल, त्यांनी आपल्या निवेदनात सांगितलेलं आहे की ते मातोश्रीवरती का राहायला चाललेले आहे. मातोश्री हे मूळ स्थान आहे शिवसेना प्रमुखांचं आणि शिवसेनेचं.
Sanjay Raut, who's perhaps commenting on the Chief Minister moving to Matoshri, which again has a very emotional connect. Jayant Mainkar, see, the point is everybody is trying to appeal emotionally. Mr. Eknath Shinde is saying, look, we became a very different Shiv Sena. We refuse to follow our ideology. Appealing emotionally to the cadre, right? Also to the MLAs. Then you've got Mr. Uddhav Thackeray appealing emotionally by saying, I'm going back to Matoshri. Matoshri has a different sort of a emotional attachment for the Shiv Senics. Whose emotional attachment is going to work to retain Shiv Sena?
See, actually, it's Thackeray family's appeal, which will keep the cadre together. That's perfect. Though in number game currently, you can easily say that yes, it seems that Eknath Shinde is winning. I mean, not winning, I will say. Eknath Shinde is ahead by 5. But the point is the point that Sanket, you stressed very much. That is more important. If he does not reach to the magic figure of 37, what will happen? The outcome, it will be in the court of Narahari Jhirwal, the Deputy Speaker of the Assembly, who is a man of NCP, the Sharad Pawar lieutenant. So naturally, he will, you will have to, all the legislatures will have to say personally, will have to go personally to him and say that he is signed and he wants to be with Eknath Shinde or Uddhav Thackeray. That has to be said. Now, if it does not, the figure does not reach to 37, what is going to happen? Of course, a disqualification, or can you come back to Shiv Sena? Is it acceptable? Or are you going to just follow this thing of Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh, that is to resign and get re-elected?
Yeah, lots of options. Lots of options. This matter is not going to die down anytime soon. Dr. Seema Malik, I want to come to you now. You see, what role does a party like the NCP or the Congress play over here? You know, when the Congress leader Kamal Nath came out and said, our flock is intact. We had 40 MLAs, 3 or 4 more are coming, our flock is intact. I hope the Aghadi members realize that if Shiv Sena fumbles, the government fumbles.
No, we realize that, but we are very sure that this is the internal matter of the Shiv Sena, and they are definitely going to sort it out.
It affects you.
Definitely, they will sort it
matter.
out. No, see, we are there with MVA. We are standing firmly with MVA. We are all together, and we are supporting them. But the thing is this: that there is a fight between two brothers. You cannot, you poke your nose into this. This is a totally internal matter of, the Shiv Sena people, and they are showing their emotions to you. And I'm very sure.
What's the role Sharad Pawar is playing? Principal architect of Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi. What is the role he's playing? Is it his idea that Eknath Shinde should be made chief minister?
No, this is what I don't know what. How can I say that? I don't know what you are asking to me. Whose idea is this? So this is I'm no one to
come on. You give Mr. Pawar so much credit for being the for being the creator, the man who has envisioned Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi. He is in Mumbai for 2 days. He's been meeting people regularly.
See, the main thing is this, that they will have to show the numbers. The most important thing is this. And Pawar Sahib is a very senior leader. Everybody respects him, whether it is me or you or any other political party. So that is something different. But the main thing is this, that they will have to show the numbers to buck the anti-defection rule. So, and I don't think you also told this thing, that they don't have this kind of number.
No, they don't have the number now. Like yesterday, the number being spoken about was 21.
We'll talk about
today.
This
became 34.
We'll talk about today. What will happen tomorrow? Who knows?
There is as Ratnadeep just told us, there is another plane which is on its way to Assam.
Sort it out. Respected Uddhav Thackeray ji he'll sort it out. This is the
okay. Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha. Last word to Sanjay Jha. Mr. Jha, what do you feel? What is your assessment? Aerial view.
Sanket, let me tell you in bullet points. Number one, this is a BJP-sponsored and instigated revolt. Number two, why are we in Gujarat? Because both the BJP and Mr. Shinde are extremely insecure about the flock that they are claiming. Because if there is an interaction, many of them will probably return to the Shiv Sena. Number three, and this is very interesting, that end of day, if you heard Uddhav Thackeray's outreach today, everybody thought that Eknath Shinde will respond to it. Now, because Mr. Thackeray has gone public and said, listen, I'm willing to resign, whether it's because of being soft on Hindutva or whatever, Mr. Shinde, you have to come and talk to me about it. Now, the truth, Sanket, is that, as you rightly said, the numbers have to be determined on the floor of the House. And this is where you will find that Eknath Shinde, etc. are buying time, because even the rebels who have heard Uddhav Thackeray today will realize that they have to come back home for the floor test. And when they come back home, they have to also address the workers of the Shiv Sena, who are definitely not going to agree to any Shiv Sena without an Uddhav Thackeray at the charge. Let me tell you this upfront. Assuming that Eknath Shinde gets 38 seats, the truth is that the Shiv Sena and the Thackeray family are synonymous. This Thackeray family personification of the Shiv Sena. So these are political ground realities, and I'm sure Mr. Eknath Shinde is aware of it. So I believe that if tomorrow and at some point the MLAs have to come back to Mumbai, the numbers will change.
No, but then what gives Mr. Shinde the confidence to carry out this enterprise? Is it the very same Shiv Senics? One is loyalty, but then one is loyalty to a family, the other is loyalty to an ideology. I think he's harping on a ideological loyalty.
No, he's not. He's not. Let me tell you, his response is that I want to be chief minister, but only if it's part of the BJP. So I think the BJP's playbook stands totally exposed. And the bottom line here is that at the end of the day, you have to come to Mumbai to address whether you have the numbers or not. And that's where they appear extremely vulnerable.
I think that's where he puts Mr. Shinde in a very tight and tricky spot. because if Mr. Shinde accepts being the chief minister for this present dispensation, then whatever happened to the talk of ideology? And then if he does not, then does he make a fool of himself of having demanded it earlier and then rejecting it later? What does he do at the same time?
Second, one point.
Yeah.
Uddhav Thackeray, everybody expected Eknath Shinde to do a press conference. You know what he's done? He's resorted to very safe tweets. That itself is an exhibition of the way he's perhaps cornered by what Uddhav Thackeray.
I don't know. You know, that is why the story still has a lot of suspense, and we do not know which way the wind is blowing, who has the numbers, and who is the real Shiv Sena. Thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast. Good night.